if you're considering improving your posture by using one of those gadgets to sell on the market, I would suggest you ask a few of questions. Is this approach sustainable for you? And is it including you as part of the process rather than being passive? If you're being active, there's more chances that you'll remain in an active, dynamic posture, whether you're sitting, standing, or doing a long-term activity like walking, running. So how do you improve that without having those? But I'm just going to discuss a little bit why that might not be the best choice. When you have another equipment, fabric that takes your shoulders back, then you rely on these to do the work for your muscular organization and your skeleton support with your environment underneath you. What those gadgets do is that they just focus on the symptoms, which is just bringing the shoulders back, and doesn't bring awareness to the rest of yourself. So what happens is that if you're sitting in a position and you're rounded with your pelvis, and then you have something that takes your shoulders back, it's not going to be, and look, my neck has actually more tension right now. And then when I stand up, how am I going to carry myself around because I haven't included my pelvis? And if someone pushes me right now, I am not very stable. So bringing awareness to your whole self, I do have a little short free video that I can discuss about this, but right now I just want to focus on these gadgets. The other reason why I would not necessarily go for one of those, have you ever seen people who carry a very, very heavy backpack and they don't have the support for their hips, and they tend to perhaps hang out in this position because there's a resistance that brings the shoulders forward in order to not have back pain. So they end up taking out the backpack and remain in that position. But that's the same thing that this backpack is doing, or similar to what this support that they sell on the market is. Another point to support this idea is that when I train a client or a student and their knee comes in during a lunge, there is a technique in training where we won't correct the client. Instead, we will support and give them a resistance so that the nervous system and muscular system and skeleton system work together, and their sensory motor system has an implication where they can remember, so that when the coach or the trainer is not there, they can retrieve that because they have this sensory motor memory. So if I have this connection in the back, I'm actually giving a certain resistance, which could bring my sensory motor to actually do the opposite of what you want to do. Now, I am aware that those systems ask you to not wear it all day. However, if we want to have you have a long-term result, I would suggest that you instead bring awareness to the rest of you, including your pelvis, because the pelvis is the foundation of what's above. Another of those gadgets is the buzz, this little thing that you stick or that have a plastic armature where it stays on your back, and every once and again it gives you a vibration to remind you to correct your posture. Now think about when someone tells you get upright, or oh, I'm doing something wrong. Most likely we bring more attention into that correction mode. That's why instead of thinking of correcting your posture, perhaps you can think of improving your posture. That way, sky is the limit, and you can always improve whatever position you're in rather than be stuck in a corrected position where you'll have possibly limitation. So instead of having something that buzzes you, because same position here, if I'm here and then something buzzes me in the back and I haven't taken a moment to understand more where that comes from, because this is just the symptoms, this is perhaps not the source, most likely it's not, then I'm correcting the back, but then what happens to the rest of myself? So how can I actually instead learn about where am I shortening and where does that come from? Where's the weight under my pelvis? That way I'm not just correcting the symptom and end up with actually more problem. Instead of going for such a little gadget for vibration, you could put post-its or have a reminder on your phone. Even if it's an alarm, that alarm is not on your skin, so it has less of a startle effect, and it will still remind you to just check in. Oh, how am I sitting? Where's my weight under my pelvis? Where am I shortening? So that if you understand where that is, then you can slowly come out of where the source of that posture that is not optimal for that particular situation could be improved. I hope this helps, and please let me know in the comments if you have any other question or if this was helpful to you. Thank you.